Left, please. The test is going to last approximately 38 to 40 minutes. We're going to be driving on various roads. At all times, I would like you to follow the road ahead unless signs tell you otherwise. We'll do about 20 minutes worth of independent driving. We'll also do one reverse maneuver. If at any point during the test you're not sure what you're doing, just ask, and if I can help you, I will. Okay? Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, when you're ready, drive on, please.
Hey guys, so I'm just going to talk you through this driving test so that you guys can have the best chance of passing, and I'll explain the faults and also explain the things that he's doing well as well. So right now on this start, we're starting on a hill. You might not see me on the video, but it's a bit of a hill, so you need to make sure you get your biting point first, otherwise your car's going to roll back just like that. So you've got a minor fault for rolling back there, which is something that it does throughout the test, so keep an eye out for that.
And then turn it right.
If you do it too many times, it then can turn into a serious fault. Now this is where lots of people fail. I've mentioned in many videos here, and watch what he does as you approach this junction here. So it's positioned way too far towards the right. If anybody's trying to come into this road now, they're not going to be able to because it's in the way. So therefore, there's going to be a serious fault for positioning. So if you're coming out of that test center, then make sure you're positioning all the way to the left and not encroaching on the lane for the other people coming in. And mirrors before signal, you're supposed to check your center mirror and then the right mirror if you're going towards the right, then center mirror and then left mirror if you're going towards the left. This is something that he doesn't do throughout the mock test, so keep an eye on that as well. So let me know in the comments, do you think he checked his mirrors there or not? So, like I said before, if it's one time or two times, you're not going to fail for it, but if you keep doing it, then the examiners will see that you're not really checking your mirrors.
Enter the road, turn left, please.
We're going through the estate. It's quite busy there sometimes.
Sorry?
I can't see what's behind me from this road.
Okay.
And sometimes he checks the mirrors after he's signaled, or
Yeah?
sometimes he doesn't check them at all. You're supposed to check them before you signal. So mirror, mirror, signal.
Next roundabout, we're going to turn right, 4th exit. Come back this way, please.
So going towards this roundabout, where we're turning right, 4th exit. So he's got a signal on to begin with, which is a good idea, because you need to be signaling right to turn here. But watch what he does in a second. And it's slowed down nicely because you can't see the left beyond this van here, and you can see someone was crossing the road. So he's done that really well, and then now he's checking both sides before moving on, and you can see a pedestrian coming from the right hand side. So there's no rushing there. He was thinking about anyone that might come from the left and the right. So that's exactly how you deal with zebra crossings, especially if you can't see one side. So well done for that one. He was getting a bit confused. I think he was thinking that he was in the wrong lane, but we're turning right, so he should be in the right lane and signaling right as well. But right now he's got no signal on. He's going all the way around without a signal. So there's going to be a fault for that. And if you keep signaling wrong at roundabouts, you are going to get a serious eventually.
Take the next left, please.
Turning left into this side road, but sometimes pedestrians are actually crossing the road already, so you need to be really careful there to make sure that you're not going to miss any pedestrians that are waiting to cross
Over on the left,
at the
please.
zebra crossing.
Space behind that car there. Okay, you can adjust your mirror if you need to, yeah?
Okay, quite a decent stop there.
Yeah, when you're ready, please.
But watch the way he looks around before moving off. So he does the blind spot check, but then he checks the left now, and he's checking the left, and then now he comes out. Not the best time to be coming out, well, you should be checking your right blind spot just before you move out towards the right, but you checked it first and then you checked the left blind spot kind of last. You've done it in the wrong order. So you need to make sure that you're checking the right blind spot just before you're moving off towards the right. And it does this a few times as well. Something that's quite easy to fix, but if you do it too many times in your test, you're going to get a serious fault.
Pull over on the left in a safe place, please.
Even if you do it the wrong order, if you then check your right shoulder again just before moving, it's not a problem. The problem is when you check in the right and then leaving a big gap between checking the right and then moving off again.
Thank you. We're going to do some independent driving now, okay? We're going to get to a roundabout.
So we're going to see if he does it right this time.
End of the road, turn left. Traffic lights, turn right. So what we're doing?
Turn right, turn left, turn right.
Yeah, so the roundabout, end of the road, and then traffic lights. If you're not sure on this occasion, on this section of the test, you can ask, but ask in plenty of time. Okay, when you're ready, please.
Yeah, so you see the right blind spot check first and then the left, then the right again. And then now there's a bit of time going since he last checked the right blind spot. Ideally, you should check it one more time before moving. But let's see if he does that. So you see lots of time is going past here. He hasn't checked it again. Yeah, so you checked it okay that time, but you should have checked it one more time just before moving off. Because too much time had gone by between the last right blind spot check and him actually moving off. Now this roundabout, he approaches a bit in a risky way. So you've got a car coming from the right and then they're turning right as well. But then there's a car right behind them, which is now coming towards us. So there, you see that car? It's quite close to us. It should have waited for them. Otherwise, they got a bit too close. If there's only one car that's turning, sometimes it's better just to wait until you get a nice safe gap. So he does well during the independent driving to confirm where he's going. This is something that I always encourage people to do. If you're not sure where you're going, even if you're like a 99% sure, just ask. It's much better than trying to guess where you're going. Now we're turning right at these traffic lights. Now this is something that you really want to take time and do it carefully. But watch the way he approaches it. So even then I would have waited until I'm sure I've got space. But it's about to go now. And at the last second decides to stop. I nearly braked there as well because I think he didn't realize those cars were coming down. But luckily he saved it for himself. Otherwise if I had braked, then he would have definitely fell for that one. And then here I'm going to ask him to pull over on the left. But you need to be very careful where you signal because look where he signals. He's got his left signal on right now and there's a car coming from there. I had to cancel it for him because if that car or if that driver thought he was turning left, there's a strong chance that they were going to come out in front of him. So be very careful where you put your signal on. Think about, are there any roads before you where you're trying to stop? Are there any other drivers that might get confused? Just don't signal straight away. Think about it carefully first and then signal. Again, wrong order, but he's checking the right again. He should check it again one more time before moving. Let's see if he does that. Rolling back a bit again. Yeah, there you go. That last blind spot check, that's what you need. So that time was better. Especially if you've been waiting around for a long time, you want to check that right blind spot one more time just before moving off. So here, should have a left signal on when coming off the roundabout, but he didn't have a signal on. And that's not the reason why he got the serious. It's because he didn't signal properly on the other roundabout as well. So when you do the same thing over and over again, you're more likely to get a serious fault for that. If you had done it just once or twice, maybe they might get away with it. But if you're showing that you don't know how to signal at roundabouts, then the examiner has to give you a serious, because then that's something that you need to work on. They can't allow you to be driving around not knowing how to signal at roundabouts. So this roundabout, it was left, and this splits into two, so you want to make sure that you're going into the left side and then checking the right from early, and also keeping an eye on the zebra crossing as well, because there are zebra crossings on these roundabouts, and if you're not careful, you can easily miss pedestrians that are crossing. We were supposed to take the first right, but I think he's forgotten, so I have to tell him to turn the next right. If you miss your turning on the independent drive, I wouldn't stress out. You're not going to fail for that. You're marked on how you're driving safely, not if you miss turns or not. But if you miss a turn on the independent drive, don't stress out. Just take the next turn or ask them where to go, and they'll tell you. Okay, now watch the way he looks towards the left as you approach this junction here. So he's going to keep looking towards the right for too long. And then only now he looks towards the left, but by then it's too late. If anyone's coming from the left, you would have not seen them until it was too late. So you want to make sure that you check in the left and the right and the left and the right before coming out. Otherwise, you're going to miss things that are coming from the left-hand side potentially. Now, unfortunately, here's where my camera cut out, and then it came back on here. And we're going to talk a bit about nerves and test nerves. So if you want to listen to this bit, you can listen to this bit, or you can skip to the next part where we do the parking. This car park is very narrow and it's got some sharp turns, so you need to be super careful here and use the clutch control to control your speed. There's a big curb on the left there. Sometimes people miss this curb where the double the yellow lines are. Make sure you're not getting too close to that as you're turning in. And there's no need to rush, just keep the speed nice and slow. And then the examiner is going to tell you whether to do a forward bay park or reverse bay park. So it's going straight into reverse. Nice checks before moving. Yes, he shoulder checks all the time and looking at his mirrors as well. So this is a good example of observations when you're doing a maneuver, and is also keeping the speed nicely controlled as well. There's no need to rush this. Just take your time, do your checks. Time to straighten up now. And then it's finished. So that was a nice example of a reverse bay park. Remember with this one, if you're not sure, come outside and check just to make sure that you're inside the bays. But if you already know that you're inside the bays, then just secure the car and then the examiner will tell you to drive on again. Now this roundabout coming up is where lots of people fail, and he's about to do the same mistake that lots of people make, which is they're approaching it way too fast. I think sometimes people don't realize that there's a roundabout here. So he's approached it way too confidently, and then there's also a car coming from the right hand side. Just like there, we can see the car coming from the right, got a bit close. So that's the second time he's done that now. He's a bit too confident at roundabouts. Take more time and actually make sure that it's safe first. So that's why he ended up getting a serious there, because he's just taking too many risks. So he approached this one a bit slower, and that was nicely done. No one got close to us, and it felt safe. And then turning back into the test center. Again, once you come off the main road and into the estate here, you need to really adapt your driving and drive slowly enough so that you don't end up making any mistakes with other drivers or pedestrians, because there's lots of people walking around, lots of people parking, coming out of parking spaces. So you need to kind of change the way you drive once you get into this area. But watch what he does at the end of the road here. We're turning left again, and he's going to make the same mistake that he's made earlier. So you see, a lot of his mistakes that he's made today were the same mistakes repeated. But luckily, that kind of thing can be easy to fix. So you see, there's only looking towards the right, and then only now he looks to the left. But then it could be a bit late, and someone could be there. Make sure you subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. You can either watch the debrief at the end of this video, or you can skip to the next one. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching again, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.